if it works. Come on. Come on. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, it's working. Yippee! Okay, welcome to our live stream. Once Upon a Time Marathon. And welcome to Storybrooke. Yep. Welcome. Well, I'm not much of an exciting mood because we're starting late. And I couldn't do it last week because we were on a cruise and there was no we had Wi-Fi, but it was just too expensive to stream. All right. Well, we're starting a new season, new year, right? Perfect timing. Out of all the couple weeks I've missed, this couldn't be even more perfect. So I'm glad we got to start season 5 in 2026 and not 2025, even though it's more ironic that 2025 would match with season 5, but no. But yeah, last year we finished season 4, Heroes and Villains. Remember the series title change? We're back to Once Upon a Time now. That season is over. And yes, I've so on my cruise I went to Mexico. So anyway, a little fun fact about that. I came home. We came home and bring our luggage in at about 6:50. So that's right when we needed to start. And it takes me usually I need a little bit more time to set up my live stream. Usually I set a 6:30 alarm just to set up and to start at 6:50. So it takes 20 minutes. So now you know why we started at 7:10 is because we because I didn't start setting up till 6:50. So anyway, I tried to get my family to leave a little bit earlier, but they're pretty slow. So anyway, but luckily I chose to wear my Once Upon a Time clothes before we got home. And that was smart. Now I didn't have to change. And yeah, I'm sad I couldn't talk to you on the cruise, but we're here now and we could start season 5 tonight instead of, it would have been better last week because at least this time, the hard thing about a new Once Upon a Time season is I have to figure out the thumbnail for the arc, and I have to figure out the special that we're watching because we watch a Once Upon a Time special look every single season, every single new season and arc, and so it's like it's a lot longer to set up for a season premiere than it would be in the middle of the season. So it would have been better to start last week, honestly, because then I would have actually probably been able to go faster and start. I almost started at 7 actually. It was 6:59, but then I got stuck on figuring out which thumbnail to use, and that took till 7:05. So as you can see, we could have started a lot earlier if I could have had more access to streaming on the ship. We had Wi-Fi, but we didn't have streaming. So anyway, that's in the past now. We're back. As much as we don't want to skip another week, that just means more Once Upon a Time marathon, right? We were originally going to plan to end. We were originally planning to end in May, but now our schedule's way off. I haven't really updated the schedule. I'm so sorry. I need to let you know what the schedule looks like now. But we are not going to finish till June. We've added a whole month to our marathon by not doing it every single week. We had mishap in Thanksgiving in November when I was sick, and then that's not my fault. But what is my fault is I was trying to impress a girl by going to a church activity that conflicted with our marathon in September. And then we went on a cruise, which is not my fault. I have no jurisdiction over that. My grandparents who were paying for the cruise were not going to pay an extra $200 just so I can stream my live stream. But they did because I started college last week, they did, however, bought a Wi-Fi package so we could do college work. But it wasn't meant for the live stream. And even if I could do it, I couldn't. I didn't get access to YouTube at all. Anyway, so on the ship, you get internet. You get to. You get. It's weird because normally you need internet for everything, and on the ship, yeah, you could buy internet and data to use on Facebook and social media and internet, but you can't use it on YouTube unless you want to pay another charge. That's way more expensive. It's weird. Ship's weird. Cruise is weird. First time I've ever been, and it's weird. anytime I go without Wi-Fi. Once I get Wi-Fi, I have access to everything usually, but not usually most things. So anyway, YouTube was one of them, which is why we couldn't go live last week. Again, very sorry, but here we are now, and we finally get to start season 5 in the new year. Happy 2026. Haven't talked to you since, I mean, I've made posts, on YouTube and Facebook, but I haven't talked to you since 2025. So it's been a year. All right. Well, we need to get started. So I'm gonna send you the link. Again. So it's a new season, so new special. This one does cost money. It's just like season 3. It costs money, and there's another option, but it costs money, and you have to buy the whole season with it. So you have Disney Plus, you have Hulu, right? But this episode's not on Disney Plus or Hulu. This one episode, and you know how you could just watch the rest of season 5 on your DVD, Blu-ray, Netflix, not Netflix, Disney Plus and Hulu. I know it's not on Netflix. I checked. Disney Plus and Hulu. If you when you watch season 5 on there, that's where you watch it, because you have a subscription, and as long as you pay it every month, it's free. So it's like, it's probably not worth for you to buy an entire season on YouTube just for one episode. And so anyway, but still, I'll send the link to it. Not like any of you want to use it, but here's the link to our Once Upon a Time special that we're gonna watch. Okay, and then I'm gonna send you. So even though you probably don't want to waste your $36 of money on that episode, there is a free version I have. Just give me a second. There's a playlist, but the videos are not in order, so it's like you might not want this option. But anyway, I'll send you the playlist. Maybe you could try to follow along. It's gonna be hard to stay in sync when whoops, go back. Okay, go back. Sorry. Um, if you're hoping to stay in sync with me, this is not going to be good because the videos are not in order. And I'm trying to figure out how to share this. View playlist. Oh, here we go. Here, I'll share this in the live chat. And then one more option, just like the Neverland Journey to Neverland. Remember how if you remember season 3 when we started the half season arcs, remember how the special you had to buy the whole season with it, but I gave an audio version. I recorded an audio. I wasted my money on season 3 and 5 just for that one episode. I was, I know you think that's a waste of money and I'm stupid, but I did it because I love Once Upon a Time too much. Anyway, and so anyway, let me go here. Where is it? Anyway, I after buying the whole season, and after I got access to the episode, I got, without any copyright, I was able to record the audio with fair use. And so anyway, just like season 3, you're gonna only be able to watch this by audio. If you want to not do that, then you have the playlist, which it won't be in sync with our marathon since the clips are not in order in the playlist. So anyway, if it were up to me, I would recommend just listening to the audio. That way you're synced with us. But if your second best option would probably be to watch the playlist and try your best to follow along. Just figure out which video we're watching. There's 17 videos in the playlist, and if each one's like a minute or 2 long, it's gonna be hard. So anyway, your last option is to waste $36 on the entire season 5 just for one episode. So, all right, well, we need to get started. So here, let's see. I'm gonna type in, here is the link to our first OUAT episode tonight. Okay, here's the link. I recommend the audio version of the episode. Whoops. Episode. Link 3. Okay. Okay, I sent you guys the link. There you go. Send. Nice. Let's see. I wonder how I can. Okay, got it. Choppy, let me hurry and do that to Facebook. Okay, there you go. So there's the links. Let me see. All right. Yes. Okay. Here's the link to our first Once Upon a Time episode tonight. I recommend the audio version of the episode, link 3. So, yes, should be. Let me open in a new tab. Okay, link 3. Let me make sure it takes you there. Yep, it does. It does. It does. So make sure you watch that. I'm going to watch the actual episode. I know that's not fair, but I'm going to watch the actual episode. So, give me a second. I'm going to watch the actual episode. Here we go. I'm going to put in my headphones. I know we're starting. We spend 10 minutes to get ready, and we're taking longer than that. By starting at 7:10, you think we'd start the show at 7:20, but it's already 7:25. We're starting pretty much a half hour late, so we might go till 10. But luckily, we're not doing 4 episodes tonight, so that might be okay. Oh no! Well, I broke one of my headphones, guys. Unfortunately. Okay, we're going to use the other headphones because the cord ripped. This is why you have to be careful on how you. Yes. Let's plug these bad boys in. Okay. So I sent you the link to our first episode. And now it's time to get started. So let me YouTube. Okay. Loading. Okay. Let's see. I need to look at my purchases, I guess. Because it's not on my channel, obviously. I just pushed my own live stream, so if you heard me just repeat myself, I was watching myself on our own live stream just now by accident. It was being weird. I'm trying to find the episode. Shopping. Here we go. That's not it. Movies and TV. Here we go. Nope. Never mind. I guess I can't find it. Oh, here we go. I mean, I've already paid for these episodes though. All right. Just pay to watch. Go to season 5. We are going to watch this one. Okay. I have my episode ready. So if you have the audio version, if you have the playlist, I don't know what to tell you. But if you have the audio version, it should be 41 minutes and 16 seconds. Something like that. So that's how you know you have the right video. Okay. Now, okay, before we actually start the episodes, I need to get Disney Plus ready because after we watch this episode, we will have the other episodes on Disney Plus, Hulu, blah blah blah. All right. So, so the plan is tonight get through our Once Upon a Time special. It's not a behind the scenes special, it's not a recap. This is a Q&A special. Our first Q&A special. In the past it's been all about behind the scenes and recaps, but no, it's a Q&A this time. So, it's not to recap the whole show if you've been tired of that and unnecessary. Don't worry. It's just a Q&A from the cast and there's no spoilers. So, just get ready to celebrate with the cast. This is what we did when it was on live TV. So, it was a pre-recorded thing. So even watching this while it was on the air, you still didn't really celebrate with the cast. It wasn't like a live performance. It was pre-recorded when it went live. But get a feel of what we went through when season 5 started. We're gonna watch. We're gonna have a fan party with the cast for 45 minutes. Then we're gonna watch the actual first episode of season 5, and then because the party is goes against our 3 episodes, we're only gonna watch episode 2 and not episode 3. We did that with season 4 because it was 25 episodes total, so not good to divide by 3. Season 5 has 24 in total, so we're good. And then of course there's season 2, but season 2 and 4 are the only exceptions of watching 3 episodes after one behind the scenes recap or celebration special. So anyway, so yes, it's not going to count again. It will count against our 3 episodes, from here on out. And that's what it did in season 3 and the second half of season 4 as well. So anyway, don't worry about season 5 episode 1 right now. Just click one of the links I sent you. We are gonna watch the Once Upon a Time fan special. There's a bunch of Q&A going on, so be ready. It's 41 minutes and 16 seconds if you watch the audio version. We're all gonna push play on my count. Are you guys ready? At 7:30. Let's see. It's been 20 minutes on the YouTube live stream, and it's been about 18 minutes on the Facebook one. So lovely, 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 lovely. All right. Sorry for wasting 20 minutes of your time. I might send out a note to skip the first 20 minutes. But anyway, we're going to get started now. So, let me do a countdown first before everyone pushes play. Okay, 7:30. It's 7:30 now, so we're going to get started. 3, 2, 1, now. I know it's kind of boring because you're just listening, but I'm not listening. I have access to the episode. These are all the questions. These are all the questions that will pop up during the episode. Tonight, let's celebrate a beloved story. The people who tell it. The most cherished moments chosen by TV's most devoted fans. Just in time for the New Year's next chapter, where darkness rises over Storybrooke and Maine. What's her name? Emma. Emma. Dark Swan Rises, a once upon a time fan celebration. That's a good title sequence. Wow. Look at all these fans that were watching the show 10 years ago, guys. This season aired in 2015, which was 10 years ago. Can you believe that? That's why my group chat's called Once Upon a Time Oncers, is because the actors called them Oncers back when the Phantoms was brand new. So that's why I'm calling you guys Oncers. Once you watch the show all the way through, you are officially Oncers. Everyone who's a fan of Once Upon a Time is a Oncer. So join the club. First question. What is it what has it been like to put your own twist on the fairy tales we grew up knowing? Do you guys feel like you're a kid? When we watch this show every night, every Sunday night, do you feel like you're a kid again? Do you reach back to your childhood fairy tale memories of watching Disney movies? And if you've seen Once Upon a Time before, do you have memories? Do you have nostalgic feeling when we watch this show together? If you're new and watching it for the first time, you will get those memories in the future. There's always something dark in Once Upon a Time. It's not perfectly light. There's darkness. It's not perfectly PG all the time. I bought this hat from Mexico, by the way. So sad, and yet so true. They're never gonna love the evil queen, but they love Regina. Same person, I know, but they didn't love her when she was evil. Man, all these callbacks to 2015, 2025 episodes we've watched. Going back to the pilot. Going back to the pilot when Regina interrupted Snow and Charming's wedding. Good callback. Yep, it's good to have a flawed character. No one's perfectly evil or good. We're all in between. What's your favorite Disney fairy tale? I don't have a favorite Disney. Once Upon a Time took over that spot. I don't have a favorite Disney fairy tale anymore because of Once Upon a Time. It used to be Peter Pan before Once Upon a Time took over. Peter Pan was the last one. Beauty and the Beast was the first one. I can't name all the ones in between. There was a lot. Mulan, Pocahontas, blah blah blah. I was mostly a princess fan. Happy! Dumbo is a fairy tale. It's Disney. Wow, Wicked Witch's favorite was The Little Mermaid. That's funny. Wow. So Rebecca Mader's children think she's Ariel because she has red hair. That's funny. She doesn't even play Ariel. She's the Wicked Witch on Once Upon a Time. Jennifer Goodwin, who plays Snow White, changes her favorite movie. It goes from Sleeping Beauty to Beauty and the Beast. That's what I did growing up before Once Upon a Time. When the Wicked Witch was a little girl, the actress Rebecca Mader, she had nightmares. She had a nightmare. Yep. Yeah, she had nightmares. The magic continues. New fairy tales are coming to Once Upon a Time. In an all new season of Once Upon a Time. Dark Swan Rises. We're just getting started, guys. But yeah, the Wicked Witch. I need to catch up. Yes. The one thing kids love about Once Upon a Time is the fairy tales are all mixed together. Watch this with your children. It might have some violence, but it's worth watching as a family. If not, kids can't watch it by themselves. They watch it as a family. It's one universe. See how fans love this show? They love the interactions between different fairy tales. They love how it's all one universe. And they love it how all the fairy tale characters are smashed together in the real world. That was just a few weeks ago in Christmas. We were watching the episode where Hook was worried about his happy ending. And we discovered his happy ending is Emma Swan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hook really loves Emma. It's not just a girl passing through. We're rooting for Captain Swan, aren't we? I told you were going to have to get used to it because Neil come and goes, but Hook stays on the show. Hook is 300 years old. But anyway, I need to say something about the Wicked Witch really quick. The actress Rebecca Mader, when she was a girl, the Wicked Witch gave her nightmares, and now she's playing the Wicked Witch, giving other children nightmares. I know we already established that, but I wanted to finish saying it. Anyway, Hook is trying to be the best person he can be. We're getting new stuff. Oh, look at this! The alternate universe. So the last time we met and we had our live stream, we had the heroes and villains twist, right? Where everyone switched roles. Snow White was the evil queen, Regina was the princess. How was it for these actors to switch roles? They were still playing Snow White and Evil Queen, but they were switched. Where Snow White was the Evil Queen. How did that feel? It's kind of cool how Regina got to play the princess, and it's cool how it's not the actor switching character roles. It's the character roles switching character roles. So like Snow White is the evil queen, and the evil queen is Princess Snow White. It's kind of cool. How I can't describe it, but you were here last time, right? all the heroes were villains and villains were heroes. Everyone switched places on the good versus evil board. It was kind of cool, wasn't it? We changed the series just for that one night, heroes and villains. But now we're back to Once Upon a Time. That was a good memory from the end of last year, I bet. Now we're going to make this funny memory of season 5. I can't wait to make a memory out of tonight. We still got more season 5 weeks to go through. We're just starting, but anyway. I miss Evil Snow, don't ya? Do you miss Evil Snow White? Do you miss good Evil Queen? Do you miss good Wicked Witch? And do you miss good Rumpelstiltskin? Rumpelstiltskin the Knight at your service. That was a good callback. In the alternate reality we were facing last 2 weeks ago, because we didn't do a live stream last week. What is your favorite season of the entire show? Yeah, everyone should try to answer that. Honestly, I wish I had more comments in this comment section to look at. That's when I start watching the show. I don't know. What is my favorite season? I did a ranking once. I don't remember. I wish I could say season 1, but season 3 was the first season I watched, so it's easy to be biased on season 3. Most people watching a show usually like this first season a lot, and probably it's their most favorite. Shows later on tend to have worse seasons, but Once Upon a Time is not one of those. It goes up and down every season. Yeah, and even the Wicked Witch, who we were just talking about not too long ago, she didn't join the show until season 3. So for her, it's going to probably be season 3. Henry also likes season 3, and he's from season 1 though. Belle's favorite season would be season 1, of course. This is also from an interview I saw. That's her favorite. Yeah, yeah. Emily DeRaven, who plays Belle's, her favorite episode is her first appearance in Once Upon a Time, when we had the Beauty and the Beast episode in season 1. Everyone deserves a happy ending. True. Snow and Charming meet and fall in love. Of course they do. That is love right there. Wherever you are, I will find you. Aw. Yep. Remember the time travel episode? That was not a week ago. That was way long ago. Right before Halloween. The season 3 finale was a whole Back to the Future adventure within itself. Good old days. He's a 300-year-old pirate. He has no time to go to the movies. Then you got all the time in the world when you're time traveling, honestly. It's not that he's never seen Back to the Future. I mean, he hasn't. The actor claims, he says he's seen it, but his character has not seen Back to the Future because he's from Fairy Tale Land. But he has time for movies. If you're immortal and you're living forever, you got time for movies. It's only death do you not have time for movies. Like, seriously. Dark Swan Rises, Once Upon a Time fan celebration, still continues, guys. Oh, this fan watches the show alone. That's sad. Well, at least you're watching it with your mom. Wow, you love messaging about Once Upon a Time. You watch it with your 7-year-old daughter. See, look at these 7-year-old girls. They're watching it with their friends and family. It's for little kids too, guys, not just adults. Despite some of the violence, it's for little kids too. There's things for kids and adults alike. There's no age limit on Once Upon a Time. Some people would like to say 10 and up, but I say there's no age limit. My 2-year-old sister watched this when it was on the air. Come on, guys. Actually, we've been watching it since she was born. So, babies watch the show. Bring your babies to our marathon. we So notice that in Once Upon a Time, their most iconic scene of Beauty and the Beast music and dancing in the ballroom from the Disney movie had not happened yet on the show. And so Adam and Eddie, the writers, wanted to make sure it did that. And and right after Belle and Rumple got married at the end of season 3, they had their Beauty and the Beast dance in season 4. So probably don't remember that, but that was important. Rumple and Belle question. What do you like most about playing Belle and Rumple's love story? Good question. This counts with the lateness and me talking too much anyway. Because despite how late we're going 2 hours and 40 minutes like we normally do. This, with us starting talking for 20 minutes, we've already wasted our Q&A time. So this should make up for that. Because it's a Q&A special. Why need to ask me questions and have me give you the answers when Once Upon a Time's already doing that? From the cast, answering fan questions from 10 years ago. You probably would have asked the same questions if you would have known the show existed 10 years ago. For those who've already seen it, if you would have just left it a little bit more, you would have asked these same questions. Remember in season 4 when Belle sent Rumple across the town line? That was teary. That made me cry. I hope you cried too. Princess and a Beast breaking up forever. Belle sending Rumple away. How sad. That's if you want to know how to ruin a marriage, lies and secrets are the way to go. Rumple had lost Belle. That's what led him to teaming up with the Queens of Darkness, remember? Does Rumple have the power to be good? I don't think Rumple has the power to be good. He was good, but then when the Wicked Witch revived him, he became evil, and then now he's kind of good. I mean, he's kind of on his deathbed. Last we saw him, he was in a coma. Remember, the apprentice put him in a coma because his heart gave out for being evil for too long. Remember that? Rumple's in a coma, so who knows if he's good now. But from my experience of watching the show from beginning to end, he switches back and forth quite a bit. So I don't think he can ever be good. How much fun, if you just missed it because of my talking, how much fun are the costumes on Once Upon a Time? They're pretty fun indeed. I hope you enjoyed the costumes that each of these characters have been wearing for seasons and seasons. Yeah, Belle does not want to wear her dresses when she goes shopping. Now, Regina Lana Parrilla loves her costumes, unlike Emily D. Raven, who plays Belle. Yes, the queen is dead. Long live the evil queen. Well, the evil queen is dead now. We got good queen back. Wicked Witch. Rebecca Mader says this is the only show she's ever been on where she's excited to try on a new costume. Most shows, you're not excited to try on a new costume. But in Once Upon a Time, it's actually exciting. There's two Belle's dresses from Beauty and the Beast, the Disney version, the one that Belle wears in her first Once Upon a Time episode debut, and the one they wear on their honeymoon. Two different Belle dresses, guys. They both look yellow, but they're different. The Evil Queen's costume only gets crazier and crazier. Wow, the Wicked Witch got to try on some of the Evil Queen costumes. That was cool. Wow, I remember when we were doing Oz. That was a good arc. Dark Swan Rises. We're only halfway through the episode, guys. Yes, Once Upon a Time should be brightening your day every Sunday night. I hope you look forward to this after a long week. And Once Upon a Time, anything's possible. If you believe hard enough, you'll be able to achieve your dreams. With hope, anything's possible. Once Upon a Time is all about family, hope, and faith. If you catch that from the fans, I'm telling you. If you didn't catch it, I just told you. 319. Season 3, episode 19 is when Snow and Charming crushed their hearts to cast a curse. And what kept them alive? A shared heart. Yeah, Snow White was. The actress was actually pregnant in real life. Snow White was super pregnant in real life. And Jennifer Goodwin was actually having a baby during the time she was pregnant on the show, so it actually worked out. And she was so pregnant during this episode where she crushed Charming's heart. So sad when you have to crush your own wife's heart or husband's heart. That's the last thing you want to do. Luckily, they loved each other strong enough to share one heart. And Snow gave half of her heart to Charming's after crushing Charming's into the poor curse. Wow, what does it mean to do a show that puts an emphasis on family, hope, faith, and belief, just like the gospel of Jesus Christ? This is why I enjoy watching this on Sundays. It just reminds me of the scriptures and church and stuff. Fairy tales can give us that hope and faith and belief that scriptures can. Scriptures do it more because they're based on truth, but even in a fictional world, you can learn those same principles. That's how I argue that Once Upon a Time's a good spiritual show sometimes. Sometimes I like to tell people that I can only understand gospel principles through fairy tales. Have hope, faith, trust, belief. In real life, that's Jesus Christ. In the show, it's just the belief that things will be better. Yeah, Once Upon a Time's a very spiritual show. Wow, we have strong female characters. No one's a damsel in distress in this show. Everyone's a strong warrior. They don't need a prince to sweep them off their feet and save the day. Run. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Once Upon a Time's really good at writing shows for women. While we're watching this, I'm going to. Hi, Ben. You are back so excited for Once Upon a Time. That's funny. My mom just texted in the comments. I'm going to send you guys something really quick. Keep listening to the audio version of the episode. I'm going to send something really quick. What's the perfect day in Storybrooke when there's no crisis or villain to attack? I think it's hard for Once Upon a Time to go on vacation because, yes, the fairy tale characters are so busy defeating villains, they're not used to a vacation. Bowling with the Seven Dwarfs, that would be fun. Going on Hook's ship to take a cruise. Read. Oh, wow. So Hook will finally see Back to the Future for the first time if he gets to go on vacation for a second. Well, don't eat grannies. Yeah, go on Hook's boat. Take a cruise. As Jennifer Morrison said, who plays Emma Swan, Storybrooke needs a crisis to stay interesting. Once Upon a Time would not be an interesting show without plots and twists and turns. The lasagna may be fake, but the fun's real. The food on Once Upon a Time is actually fake. The actors are not really eating it, but the fun's real. They have a fun time. Fan questions. Most fans' favorite character back in the day was the Evil Queen. So my question for you guys is: your favorite character on the show the Evil Queen? If it's not, that's fine. Your opinion's not popular. It's uncommon if it's not the Evil Queen. But most people's favorite character on the show was the Evil Queen. Mine was Emma Swan, so I was one of the rare ones. But I'm going to send you a link to a sneak peek that's not in any of the episodes, but you should watch it before we watch our first episode tonight not our first episode, our second episode of tonight, but the first episode of the season. You need to watch the sneak peek. This was sad. Back when Pan's curse washed everyone back to the Enchanted Forest, that was a sad moment. It felt like a series finale when it wasn't, honestly. She does. Regina does deserve a happy ending. I know she made a lot of sins, but she's kind of repented for it by now, don't you think? Well, what is your favorite part of Regina's arc that was most fun to play and why? Yes, the first 3 seasons it was fun being the evil queen, but now Regina's had a redemption arc, so she's no longer evil as of season 3. But it probably was fun back in the day, and good old days of the evil queen. We still get flashbacks of the Evil Queen every once in a while, though. We're not done seeing the Evil Queen. Once Upon a Time is known for its flashbacks. That's a great thing to have. So if you get nostalgic for earlier seasons, you can still get them in flashbacks. Okay. I sent the link to YouTube and Facebook. So, finish what we're watching right now. But, you should watch that sneak peek when we're done. Because that's a good sneak peek, honestly. Regina never having love in her life? I can't imagine her not having love in her life. Yeah. Do you think Regina and the Wicked Witch will be able to put their differences aside and bond as sisters? Well, that's a good question. I wish I could answer it, but I'm not going to spoil. It is more fun to see Regina and the Evil Queen go. I mean, the Wicked Witch and the Evil Queen go against each other. The good versus Wicked versus Evil. That's one of our favorite battles. I bet it's one of your favorites from season 3 too. No one wants to see that end. I love the Wicked Witch and Regina going against head to head. It'll be sad when the Wicked Witch gets her redemption arc. We're gonna miss a little bit of that, but I'm not spoiling when that's gonna happen. That redemption arc. So don't say goodbye to your Wicked versus Evil too soon. Will the Wicked Witch ever be good? It was the next question, and the Wicked Witch goes, I don't know. I mean, the Rebecca Mader loves playing her. The Rebecca Mader loves playing her Wicked Witch character as Wicked. She loves being Wicked in the show, so it's going to be hard for her to be good. Yeah. Remember last season, the Wicked Witch came back from the dead? So many people came back from the dead. Maleficent, the Wicked Witch, so many people came back from the dead last season. That was new. Most villains come and go, and they never come back, but these two did. We're not going to see Maleficent in season 5, though, sadly. But she's alive in Storybrooke, hanging out with her daughter Lily somewhere. So that's kind of cool how they love bringing villains back. Not everyone gets a second chance at mortality. Mainly because immortality is way better. But how will the writers handle Zelina's pregnancy? Is the baby going to be green? No. That's funny. That's not a spoiler. The baby's not green because the Wicked Witch is no longer green. She's in the real world with real skin. So it's like the baby's going to be not green. It's going to be peach. I know. If you still didn't want me to spoil it, I'm sorry. But it will be exciting when the baby comes. When Zelina gives birth to her baby, it will be exciting. So stay tuned for that. It's kind of dark on how that happened, but Dark Swan Rises Once Upon a Time fan celebration. We're on the last few minutes of the special. Wow, so see, there are some characters here. There are some ACT fans here. Some of these fans here, their favorite character is Emma. So I was wrong. Some of the fans did love Emma. Everyone's talking about Emma now. We spent so long on the Regina and the Wicked Witch. Now we're moving on to Emma. So I bet the fan base was split. Half of the people's favorite character was Regina and half of them were Emma. Mine was Emma, so I was on Emma. I don't know if your favorite character was Regina or Emma, but if it wasn't, it was uncommon. But if your favorite character was Emma, it's not. If I said it was uncommon, it's not uncommon. Obviously, they just showed us that a lot of fans did love Emma Swan as their favorite character. It's a tie. Swan Queen is the ship. If you want to ship Swan Queen, it's not obviously a lesbian thing, but Emma and Regina are both they are both mothers to Henry, and they are really good as a team. Emma and Regina really run the show pretty well, as Regina being the second protagonist, and just under Emma. Emma will do anything to get Regina her happy ending. If it weren't for Emma, Regina's redemption arc would not be possible, honestly. Emma was the one who believed in her. And Regina is the one who's going to believe in Emma in Once Upon a Time Season 5. Now that Emma's the one turning evil, it will be up to Regina to return the favor, right? You helped me choose the right. Now you gotta help them choose the right. What are some things to what is the best part of Once Upon a Time? Characters who see themselves? I think that's what the question was. Yes, Regina, she was evil, but even though she had this dark side, she had the potential to go light. And that's, you can interpret that as the light of Christ. People have a chance to repent and change, and that's the good message for Once Upon a Time to have. If you try better, tomorrow will be a better day than what today was. True. So Rumpelstiltskin, Robert Carlyle just said that those who are watching this live when they're 13, like me, 14, it's probably going to live with them forever. And it did live with me forever. Yep. The audience did stick around the show for a long time. No wonder it got 7 seasons because everyone loved it. They thought they were just gonna get through one season top, but the show became popular and lasted longer than one season. We probably wouldn't have a marathon if it was just one season. We wouldn't have a marathon if it Once Upon a Time was just one season. If it didn't become as popular as it did, we would not have this marathon. I hope you guys stick with me until we finish the show. I hate for you to leave this marathon and not finish the show with me. That would make me sad. So what everyone's doing right now is they're trying to think of 3 words for Once Upon a Time Season 5. And I'm not going to spoil it. But 3 words for Once Upon a Time, I'd say Dark Swan Rises. That was the title of this episode. So I think that's 3 words. Brave coming. So now what are you excited to see in the new season? Camelot. That's not a spoiler. I told you we were going to Camelot. And I told you Brave was coming. So, not a spoiler. We're getting 2 new Disney movies. Camelot and Brave from Pixar. Our first Pixar movie on Once Upon a Time. In fact, we don't have very many Pixar movies that jump into Once Upon a Time. We only have a couple. So, this is like one of 2. It's not exactly the only Pixar character. There's going to be another one near the end of the show, but we have Brave, and that's the first one we get from Pixar. Emma Swan's the new dark one. So get ready for this new season. We're going to go, Emma's going to be, so they're basically saying Emma's way different now than she was in season 1. So the question is, what is everyone going to do without Emma on their side? How are they going to go against her? Yeah, and Hook loves Emma. He's gonna do whatever it takes to save her. Instead of Emma being selfless, a savior, and saving the world, Emma's now going to be selfish and destroying the world. She's going to be a whole different character than she was in the first 4 seasons. So you're probably not going to be used to Emma's character. You're not going to be used to Emma's character. So everyone wants to save Emma from being evil, but everyone has a different opinion on how they want to do that. So it's going to be hard for everyone to work together because now their leader is a villain and fighting against them. Imagine you had a leader. Imagine you were following the leader and then they turned on you. What would you do without a leader? How would you fight against this leader portrayal? Being the dark one is a curse. It caught, you become evil, and it's going to be interesting. Well, that's the end of the special. So yes, we're gonna get into the actual season now. But first, I sent you guys a little sneak peek that's not in the season, but I think you should have a watch. I'm just gonna let these credits finish. But anyway, I hope you were in sync. If you weren't, then maybe you were watching the playlist, and I'm sorry. That was probably not the best option. But if you were listening to the audio version, you probably were in sync with me the whole time. So good job. If you wasted your money buying the episode, good job on that too. Who cares? Anyway, I'm gonna get X out of that. Now we're gonna watch the sneak peek. I want you guys to see the sneak peek. Click the link I sent in the comments of Emma in a jail cell, and we're gonna watch the sneak peek together. Really quick before we start the season. 2 minutes and 11. Okay, wait. Three, two, one, now. Get a first glimpse at evil Emma. Get ready for this. You have someone walking into a jail cell. This is scary, isn't it? You never know when evil Emma's going to appear. It was the great season finale. You probably never saw it coming that Emma was going to be the dark one. So this is kind of a surprise. Now you get to see how evil she is. This guy's bringing the dark one's supper. It's a can of worms. It's not usually a good thing to eat, but then again, I'm not a prisoner in the Enchanted Forest. Emma is grabbing him by the knuckles. Emma has a new look this season. How do you like her look? White hair, white skin. She looks pretty on the outside, but evil on the inside. She goes, I thought you were a monster, the guy says, who brought her food. And she's like, only on the inside, pulling his heart out and crushing it into pieces of dust. Oh man, have you ever seen Emma crush a heart and be so evil before? She killed a life. Whoa, our protagonist being the antagonist. That's not something you like to see, isn't it? But anyway, that's your evil Emma. Now we're going to start into the actual season. Creepy, right? Are you ready to see it? Are you ready to see her evilness? You probably don't like evil Emma. You probably wish we had good Emma with us, but I'm sorry. She's no longer the savior anymore. She's pure evil. She's the dark one. Rumble's in a coma. In order to save Rumble's life, we had to make Emma the dark one. So, all right, we're going to start the first episode of season 5. So, I hope you have your Disney Plus, Hulu, or DVD out because, that wraps up for everything we were going to watch on YouTube. So, all right, hang on. I'll tell you the timestamp in just a second. Okay. There's no recap because it's the first episode of the actual season. Not the first episode we watched because of the Once Upon a Time special, but you know what I mean. I'm going to get rid of some tabs we don't need anymore. Okay. Timestamp is 43 minutes and 45 seconds if you're watching Disney Plus. Hulu might be different. So 43 minutes and 45 seconds. Otherwise, just make sure you have not played a single second of the episode. Okay. We're all going to start as soon as I say the words N-O-W. Not when I say one, when I say N-O-W. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'm going to start a countdown. I'm just checking comments one last time. All right, no comments there. And we don't need that anymore. And let me see. No comments there. Okay. And it's been about an hour and 5 minutes in our live stream. Sweet. And then about an hour and 5 minutes. Okay. All right, we're gonna start. Sorry, I was just checking my stream and how it's going. But we're gonna start now. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, now. Finally starting. Officially season 5. This is 1989. And I think it's I didn't read the city. I don't know what city this is. Boston? Maybe? But this is 1989. Emma's Emma was born in 1983, so this means she was 6 years old. Walking, sneaking into a movie theater without getting caught. A lady bought popcorn in a candy bar, and Emma's gonna steal it from her. Notice that these candy bars are a reference to Lost. I only looked it up, never seen the show, but I just know it's a reference from Lost. For you Lost fans out there, these are the creators who made Lost. Once upon a time, creators made Lost. There's an usher telling Emma not to steal that candy bar. He saw you. But he's not talking about the candy bar. And how does he know her name, Emma? Don't do it. Mm. Emma's like, who was that guy? He just disappeared out of nowhere. She's been warned never to pull the sword out of the stone. Bad things will happen if she pulls the sword out of the stone. Bad things. So don't do it, Emma. Don't pull the sword out of the stone. Sword in the stone. Hey, the title sequence has grannies in the middle of the woods. That's crazy. Many, many years ago in the kingdom of Camelot that we'd never been to in the show till now. Camelot has a lot of mountains. King Arthur and his knights are searching for the sword in the stone, also known as Excalibur. You know, this land looks oddly familiar. I used to think this was the same actor who played a old version of Peter Pan, but no, it's different. He just looks similar. Yep, someone beat you here. Who's going after the sword? It's not just you. Wow, this guy is greedy and evil. Only one person can pull the sword out of the stone, and it's whoever the true ruler is. Oh, look, the guy was too selfish that the sword turned him into dust, and now he's dead. He became the dust of the earth. Hopefully, King Arthur doesn't turn into dust. There's Lancelot. We've seen Lancelot before. Remember, he was friends with Snow White in season two. If you don't remember, if you don't recall, he he was tricked by King George to poison Snow White so she couldn't have a child. But luckily, she ate drank water, and that's how she was able to have it. So you know, King Arthur was part of that. I mean, not King Arthur, Lancelot, the guy who's African American. Anyway, he is he 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 is back for this season. I can't tell you who the other guy is yet. That would spoil. But you know, Arthur's the one who just pulled the sword from the stone, obviously. Just like King, just like King, just like the story, King, the Legend of King Arthur. Look, the sword stone is the exact same thing as the dagger. Do you think the Dark One dagger has a relation to the sword in the stone? You notice when Arthur pulled it out, it was only a half a sword. The other half's on the dagger. What a plot twist! You did not see that coming, huh? I kind of tried to hide that from you, but now I don't have to. Everyone's upset that Emma disappeared out of nowhere, and they want to find her. Hook is so desperate to reunite with his love. He's gonna try to call her with the dagger. Roles of the Dark One is you can summon the Dark One from any corner of the world, but get the phrase? Any corner of the world. She's not in this world, so that's why you couldn't call on her. Anyway, where is Emma Swan? We're about to find out. Here she appears in some fairy tale land. Could it be the Enchanted Forest, or could it be somewhere else? Emma's not fully evil yet, as you can see. This is before she transitioned into evil. Being the Dark One doesn't turn you evil overnight. So that's why you had in that sneak peek, you haven't seen her the way she was in that sneak peek yet. Mm. Emma's not going to embrace the darkness. Rumple is like the devil on her shoulder. So this is not Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin's in a coma, but the darkness is informing an image of Rumple and putting in. You've seen those movies where people have a devil on their shoulder and an angel on the other, and they have to choose which one they want to follow. Rumple's the devil on Emma's shoulder, and since this is a live action movie, you can't literally put him on a shoulder. So anyway, it's not animated, so it's a live action show. Rumple's trying to tempt Emma to use the darkness, and Emma's fighting very hard to step back and choose the light. But how long can she handle it? That's the question. She's never gonna hurt the people she loves. The apprentice is on his deathbed. Never before Emma became the Dark One, the darkness attacked him first, and it caused his heart to be weak and die. So he's on his deathbed, and he's saying goodbye to the heroes, leaving them with one last clue. Besides finding Merlin and Camelot, he gave them, he's now giving them a wand to help them go to Camelot. And that's the last thing he's ever going to give the heroes before he dies. So time to say goodbye to the apprentice. Light and the darkness. You need someone who's both evil and good to conjure a portal with that wand. And the apprentice, after saying that, just died. Well, we will miss him. He definitely worked for the author, and he definitely worked for the sorcerer, and he worked for Merlin. He's done a lot. Dina's gonna try to conjure a portal, and it's not working. Yeah, Regina's been good for too long. We need someone who's not fully redeemed yet, who's in between good and evil. And Wicked Witch is the only one that fits the description. Mhm. Hook is like, Emma sacrificed herself because she believed an evil queen could become good. You think Regina should return the favor by sacrificing her sister to find Emma? She probably should. The Wicked Witch. She may hate her sister, but that doesn't mean we should not let her. That doesn't mean we can't use her to our advantage. Emma's uncontrollably choking someone. The more she's stuck with this darkness, the more tempted and hard of agency she has. She has to get rid of it. It's cursed. She's cursed with it. Did Emma enjoy her taste of darkness? Not much. She's having a hard time handling it. There's Rumpel in a coma. Blue Fairy is trying to convince Belle to help everyone find Emma. Well, that completes the Once Upon a Time arc. I mean, the Beating the Beast arc. First, we talked about their first dance, Beating the Beast dance from season 4, and now they're getting the Rose part. Because obviously, when Rumpel turned into a beast, there was no enchanted rose, or anything like that. He would have been a beast unless he chose not to be the dark one anymore, which is now. He's now a man again. But anyway, you stay away from Robin. You already you already tortured him enough by creating a child with him. I didn't want to say the S word. Anyway, Emma's lost in the woods and can't find her way. But yeah, anyway, back to the Beauty and the Beast thing. The rose has finally come to play, but it's not when the last petal falls, the spell will be broken and Rumpel will be a beast again or a prince. It's when the fact of life or death. Once the last petal falls, he either dies or he lives. If Belle doesn't find a way to save him, he dies. If Belle finds a way to save him, he lives. So it's a little different, but at least we got the rose, right? Emma's using magic to transport herself somewhere. There's a wisp, and Emma needs to follow it. I'm trying to fix my headphones. Mhm. Wicked Witch wants to help them find Emma, but do we trust her? Ooh, I'm tired of talking, guys. Nice hat, Ben. I'm just going to the comments because I'm tired of talking. It seems most of them are both good at times and evil sometimes. You I always enjoyed Rumpel and Regina. That is spelled wrong. But anyway, Regina, evil and good personalities. Yeah, yeah. I've been stuck with the Larsons for a week and a half. I'm getting other side of the families comments. Anyway, okay, wait. Are there any comments on YouTube? As Emma's chasing the wisp. If you don't know what a wisp is, it's a little blue spirit guide in Brave. If you've seen Pixar's movie Brave, here's our introduction to Merida. She's really good, right? She looks exactly like the cartoon movie. I remember seeing Brave in theaters. I was alive when this came out. I was 10, and Braden was running up and down the aisles in the movie theater. That's what made us not go to the movies ever again until Frozen came out. Anyway, my mom missed most of the movie because of Braden. He didn't behave in the movie theater. It's a weird memory I have, but anyway. Our first Pixar character in Once Upon a Time. Merida, brave, red hair. She looks exactly like the Disney version. I got another text message, I think. Let's see. No, I did not get any likes or comment. Oh yeah. I'm getting a lot of reactions from my family members, likes and laughs. So Merida and Emma are now working together. Merida's gonna go find her brothers who are kidnapped by the three men who were fans of Merida's father. Um they kidnapped the three brothers of Merida after to save them. Remember the three little boys from the Disney movie? They're now adults, so it's been years. Emma agrees with that. So the wisps will help lead you to things, and Merida needs the wisps to find her brothers, and Emma needs it to find Merlin. So they're working together to help Merida find her brothers, and then afterwards, maybe she'll hand over the wisp to Emma, and she can find Merlin. So Hook is trying to Henry's a 13-year-old boy, and Hook is trying to convince Henry to disobey his mother. And that involves breaking out the Wicked Witch, despite everything Regina said. No, don't do it. And Hook is trying to get through her son by breaking the rules. That's one way to not listen to your mother. Obey your parents, people. Don't do what Hook's doing. Don't be bribed by other people to disobey your parents. Anyway, so I keep getting notifications on my phone on my computer, but I'm not seeing anything. So Mara's father died some time ago. So what's happening is after Merida's father died, no one believed Merida could be queen, and so they're trying to take over the throne, and they did that, and the part of their scheme of doing that is kidnapping Merida's brothers. So, anyway, anyway, Merida has not slept in months. She definitely needs to get some sleep. She has not slept in months. That is not good. She needs her sleep. Dark ones don't need sleep. That would be nice to know. I want to be a dark one because I have a hard time getting sleep all the time. Oh my goodness, I hate balding. I need to cover that because, that's not a good look for me on the screen. What? Hmm. So plot twist, if Merida, uses the wisp to find her brothers, Emma can't use it to find Merlin. Emma does not can't use it to find Merlin. It becomes Merida's owner forever, and so she has to kill Merida in order to use the thing to find Merlin. She's not gonna betray Merida though. She doesn't want to, but the darkness is very tempting. You know, yeah. Never use the same trick twice. That's a good advice from Henry. So no Walker prisoner gag from season 4. So nope, they're doing a different approach. I'm trying to sneak into the jail cell and unlocking the Wicked Witch. I don't think it was an accident, Henry. You purposely spilt that on her so that you could sneak in and break out the Wicked Witch. Or Hook doing that. Of course. Yeah, you don't want the Wicked Witch to you don't want the Wicked Witch to sucker punch you. You don't want the Wicked Witch to trick you. You want to be tricked by the Wicked Witch. Hmm. Yeah, that's probably gonna sting for sure. The Wicked Witch cast a spell to protect her heart from being pulled, and so Hook, when trying to pull the Wicked Witch's heart out, he enchanted his hooks. Nevercora enchanted his hook so he could pull out a heart. And anyway, since he's never pulled out a heart yet, he has a magic hook still, and he was going to use it to pull out the Wicked Witch's heart, but she put a protection spell on her, so on her own heart, so that was a waste of magic. And Wicked Witch had the other idea of using a knife to cut her hand off. That was pretty disgusting. So, again, there are some things that are only for adults, but it's still a kids show. You kids can watch it for the fairy tales blending together parts. Anyway, she grossly cuts her hand off to get her cuff that prevents her from using magic. To take that off and then put the hand back on. That's one smart way to free herself from pri- from from prison and getting her magic back. Emma is kind of what brought all these heroes and villains together. It started with Neverland. Emma put all these heroes, villains, pirates, princes, princesses together. And just because she's not out of the picture doesn't mean we should go back to that doesn't mean going but we should go back to our old ways of of evil good and you know Emma kept us united and that's how we should stay even without her. It's hard for these heroes to work together without their leader keeping them in check. I mean, we don't want to see the evil queen be evil again. We don't want to see Snow White running from the evil queen again. We don't want to see Hook going after his revenge on Rumple again. We want everyone to be working together like they did in season 3. We want to keep everyone together. Emma's out of the picture. That doesn't mean we should all separate. So the Wicked Witch disguised as Regina, and as soon as Robin kissed her, she knew it was the Wicked Witch. So the question is, if you were able to recognize uh, the Wicked Witch as Regina, how did you not recognize her as Marion? That's crazy. She can disguise as Marion and get away with it, but not disguising as Regina. I keep getting Facebook notifications. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna just check on my phone. The witch has stole Robin Hood and is and he's captured. And if they want Robin Hood, if they want Wicked Witch to surrender, they need to give her the wand. That's a tricky situation. Who's more important, Robin Hood's life or the wand? Oh boy. Hmm. Don't even think about it, Hook says. Don't, Regina, don't give the Wicked Witch her wand. You know what? Where's my phone? Wow, Regina made the bad mistake in order to save Robin's life, she had to give the Wicked Witch the wand. Mm-hmm. Well, now the Wicked Witch is summoning a portal to Oz, which is not where we want to go. Oh, my phone's right here. Okay. Oh, and she's summoning the portal through a tornado. How Oz-like of her. It's nice to have a tornado we haven't really well, we've referenced Oz when the Wicked Witch came back from the dead in season 4, but we haven't really referenced much of Oz. I was gonna say we haven't referenced Oz in like since season 3. No, that's not true. Season 4. Anyway, they're not gonna take the tornado to Oz. They're gonna take it to Emma, wherever Emma's at. So hopefully they have control over the portal because otherwise it's gonna take them to Oz. We're done with Oz. We already dealt with it in season 3. Merida has ran off. Emma's in trouble. She has to find her before it's too late. Wow. So Emma has to make a choice: kill Emma to find Merlin, or kill Merida to find Merlin, or let Merida go. Hopefully, she makes the right choice here. This is interesting, guys. Hmm. Wow, Merida overheard Emma talking about having the only way to find Merlin is to kill Merida thing with the devil on her shoulder. But Merida not thinking that she was just talking to herself, kind of prepared for Emma's betrayal and now threatening her with a bow and arrow as Merida always does. And Emma has a choice to make: reason with Merida and come to some sort of agreement on her brothers and Merlin, or they end up killing each other. Emma's in a darkness situation here. Hopefully she doesn't kill Merida. Hopefully she makes the right decision. Anyway. So how are they going to prevent the portal from going to Oz? They have Emma's baby blanket, and if they just put a location spell on it, it will guide the portal to that destination. So that's a smart magic way to change a course of a portal. If you want to control more of where you're going, have a trinket, have a trinket of the place you want to go to. I mean, the baby blanket's not from Camelot, but I mean it's Emma. Anyway, it'll take you to who you want to go see and where you want to go. So the seven dwarfs are freaking out because there's a tornado coming, and then when they find out that they summed it on purpose, they don't want to leave because they hate being left behind. There's been too many Avengers, and you left the seven dwarfs behind. You're not gonna leave us alone again. Let us come with you. So we get the seven dwarfs with us. Great. Hold on tight, everyone. I figured out what all my messages were. I'm in a Back to the Future chat, and there's so many messages being sent right now in that chat. I keep getting buzzes, and I keep thinking they're comments from my live stream, but they're not. They're from a Back to the Future chat, which has nothing to do with what we're watching right now. Well, Henry's proud of his mom for conjuring a portal to not Oz, to Emma. If you know by now, you know where we're going, right? I've mentioned it a few times. I've not been good at posting this last week because, again, internet limitations. Most of my internet was used for cruise ships as a way of being offline for a week. Merida does not want to reason with Emma. She's too cursed with dark magic that Emma, Merida doesn't want to handle her. So either Emma kills Merida or Merida kills Emma. I don't know how Emma's gonna get out of this one. I actually do, but I'm keeping you guys engaged without spoiling. Oh look, looks like Emma has finally gave into her darkness and she pulled out Merida's heart. Now, as the question is, it's not too late to make the right decision. Is she gonna crush it or is she gonna give Merida her heart back? Come on, Emma. Don't give in to darkness. You're not a killer. Luckily, the heroes arrived just in time in their tornado blaster. Whew! Emma, don't crush it. Yes, if you crush Merida's heart, you're going to be consumed by the darkness forever. But don't crush it. I mean, yes, Emma should deserve agency. She has the choice to be evil or good. Let's not force her out of it. So, Emma, you have a choice. We'll let you crush the heart. We're not going to stop you. We'll let you crush the heart if that's what you want to do. But we beg you not to. She gets, so even as the dark one, you still actually have agency, but it's just pretty hard to choose the right. It's just harder when you're the dark one. Okay, Emma. Emma's Emma's Emma. It's not Emma speaking. Emma wants to still kill Merida, and it's not her thoughts. It's the devil's thoughts, or in this case, Rumpelstiltskin's. Come on, don't listen to the devil on your shoulder. Listen to Hook. Listen to your family. They're the angels. If we can overcome our demons, if we can overcome temptation, if we can overcome the devil, then so can you. Hook became a good person. Regina went from evil queen to good queen. If they can be redeemed, so can you. There's no far. You can't You can't stray farther than redemption. You can't stray farther than the atonement of grace. Emma chose Hook and gave Merida her heart back. Looks like they saved her in the nick of time and through her own choices too. Good job, Emma, for choosing to stay good. So I bet you're wondering. Well, we were expecting an evil Emma by now. What do you mean? You'll see. Just because she made one good choice doesn't mean she'll make another. Merida. So Merida learned a lesson from Emma. She's apologizing. They're trying to make amends from what happened. And they're apologizing for trying to kill each other. And Merida's like, well, thank you for showing me what kind of darkness and temptation you're dealing with. Because she has darkness too. Everyone has darkness. We're all tempted to make a wrong choice once in a while. And thanks to Emma, and Merida has learned that maybe instead of killing the people who kidnapped her brothers, she's going to show them mercy. Maybe that will heal her divided land. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing Emma taught Merida something. As they all say, heroes don't kill. There's another way. There's community service and jail time, but they don't kill. So they're giving Emma the dagger back because they trust her, and they don't want her to make bad decisions. They don't want to force her to make good decisions. They want her to have the free agency of choice. She can't control the consequences of those choices, but they want her to choose. They want her to have agency. So instead of keeping the dagger for themselves and controlling her, they're giving her the dagger as a little bit of trust. But Emma can't trust herself. She's admitting that she can't trust herself. So she's giving the dagger to Regina. If Emma goes after something dark or evil, Regina can be there to stop her with the dagger. But hopefully it won't come to that, and hopefully they won't have to kill her if she becomes too evil. Now they're trying to show Emma how they all got here, and it was through grannies and a tornado. Tornado picked up grannies and took them to this realm, and it's not just these heroes that came to save them. Granny came to help Emma. The dwarves came to help Emma. Belle came to help Emma. Everyone's here to support you, Emma, in your battle for darkness. And now you can imagine how hard it was when Rumple first came, the Dark One, right? That was centuries ago. Now but now you have empathy for Rumple, maybe for what you're seeing Emma going through. We don't want her to turn out like Rumple, do we? No. So we have just been introduced to King Arthur, and and he's taking everyone to Camelot. So woohoo! Now you know where we are. We're not in the Cham Forest. We're in Camelot. And King Arthur, having known Merlin as a boy, he prophesied him coming here a long time. He prophesied these heroes coming here a long time ago, and he's been missing. And by the prophecy says these heroes are meant to reunite Merlin with King Arthur and all the realms. So we're on a journey to find Merlin and save him from wherever he is. Everyone's walking into Camelot, and everything seems peaceful and happily. King Arthur welcoming all our Storybrooke folks into the kingdom. Yep. He doesn't know that Emma's the Dark One, though. That's the thing. 6 weeks later. Some of the dwarfs did not go with them to Camelot. Some of them stayed in Storybrooke. So at least you know it's not the enchant forest. Camelot. Everyone's back in Storybrooke. What's going on? 6 weeks later, what happened? Oh, baby Neil. I hope he's not hurt. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. We were just walking into Camelot. It doesn't make sense. 6 weeks. Again, it's another curse. What happened? Where's Emma? Yeah. Uh-oh. There's our evil Emma. There's the shock you were waiting for. You were wondering when we were going to see her. Sometimes it takes more than an episode to get what we want. Well, an episode. Sometimes, in this case, it's not more than one episode. It's till the end of the episode. You went to Camelot to get the darkness out of me. So Emma just said, you went to Camelot to get the darkness out of me, and you failed. Look how evil Emma is. He turns Sneezy into a statue and destroys him. That's evil. You just killed somebody. There is no savior in this town. That's sad. Sounds like a Western theme. There is no savior in this town. Giddy up. Regina tells Emma to stop. You're going too far. You're doing something evil. And remember, Emma gave Regina the dagger so that she can be controlled when necessary. Well, it looks like Emma has the dagger, and now you can't stop her from choosing the wrong. If she falls off the straight and narrow, you can't bring her back because with the dagger. Now, after turning her more evil, she's about to punish all the heroes for failing to take out the darkness in her. And why is she being evil right now? She's the dark one. That's why. What a shocker. What a shocker. Well, that's the end of that episode. So, yes, in the sneak peek we watched, you saw an evil white haired Emma who looked nice on the outside but evil on the inside, right? Um, well, sad thing is, when we started watching the episode, you didn't really get to see evil Emma till the very end. Everything was pretty much just a setup to it. So as much as you were excited to see evil Emma in the first episode, you still got it, but you almost didn't. It was mostly just a setup for the season. Now we're really gonna get into the meat and greedy as we watch more episodes. So anyway, yes. So the hero spent all of the. We only had one scene flashback that didn't last in much of the episode, just the beginning. Little Emma going to the movie theater to see Sword in the Stone when it first came out in the movie theaters. Good reference to the first half of the season. And Merlin she's watching the part where Merlin's on screen and he's helping King Arthur pull the sword from the stone. And then outside of the Disney movie, right? Emma's watching it in theaters, and Usher comes up to her and says, "Leave the sword alone." Um, he prophesies that one day Emma will pull out the Excalibur from the stone, and she can't do it because bad things will happen if she does. And so it's a warning that if she pulls the sword out from the stone, bad things will happen. Maybe it's best that only King Arthur pulls it out because bad things will happen. So, anyway, you got to remember that warning because it does come back to bite us later on. So, we must root for Emma not to give in to darkness and not to pull the sword from the stone because bad things will happen. So, anyway. I mean, King Arthur, he's a nice guy. He pulled the sword from the stone. We saw the other guy who was rotten and evil and he turned into dust. We don't want to see that happen to Emma because now that she's cursed with dark magic, she definitely should not pull the sword from the stone if she doesn't want to turn into dust, right? Anyway, there's more to come. We're gonna start the next episode now, but I just wanted to say, um, the heroes have now made it to, they've now made it. They spent the whole episode trying to get to Camelot. Once they got there, the apprentice passed away, by the way. Once they got there, they met King Arthur and they were welcomed into Camelot. Now we jump 6 weeks later, just like Once Upon a Time season 3, when we jumped a year later, but that was in the mid-season finale, not the mid-season premiere. And that was not the season. We're watching the season premiere. This is normally something you'd get in a season finale, but we got it in a season premiere this time. And what a great setup to this next season that we're watching right now, season 5. So anyway, there's been another curse, but instead of 1 year, it's only 6 weeks. So there's not a much time difference this time. We're not jumping in 1 year, we're jumping 6 weeks. So no, and yeah, again, no spin-off series this time. So we're gonna continue watching. Anyway, so yes, let's continue watching. But anyway, yes, 6 weeks later, we come back to Storybrooke, and Emma's full on evil now. And so now that Emma's full on evil, who knows what she's going to be doing in Storybrooke. So anyway, prepare yourselves for evil Emma. She's just arrived. We're gonna get flashbacks of what happened in Camelot, of course. That's what the new theme is for this season. Um, so next, our last episode for tonight, it's called The Price, and it's 44 minutes and 15 seconds. So if you have Disney Plus, 44 minutes, 15 seconds. DVD, Hulu, it's gonna be something else. But ready? I'm gonna start the countdown. Not when I say one, when I say NOW. Okay, three, two. So push play when I say now. But okay, ready? Three, two, one, now. Emma's the dark. So yes, so Sneezy turned into a statue. How sad. So the six dwarfs that are left are they're all going to see what the new town line does. So we've gone from losing your memory to turning into a flying monkey to for being crushed by an ice wall to leaving Storybrooke and never coming back. What is it now? What happens if you leave town now? What happens if you leave town now? Do you never get to come back? What's the deal? Uh-huh. Dopey went across the town line. He can't see anybody, but he went across the town line with his memories intact and possibly can get back into Storybrooke. Maybe. Looks like nothing happened so far, but I see some leaves forming. It looks like if you cross the town line, you turn into a tree. Just like, wow. I want to say something, but I want to wait until the show retells it. Oh, the thumbnail's a tree. Great. If you leave the town, you turn into a tree now. Wow, how many more town lines are we gonna have in this show, right? Gonna turn into a tree now. Hmm. Guinevere, who's not in Sword in the Stone, but outside of the Disney legend, he is that's King Arthur's wife. If you ever read the legend, not the Disney version. That is a long time. You waited a decade for these heroes to get here. Regina is like telling the Wicked Witch, "You're lucky you're not locked in Granny's freezer." Oh, Regina just played a Little Mermaid on the Wicked Witch. Took her voice. Now the Wicked Witch can't speak or reveal that she's the evil queen because Regina Wicked Witch was threatening to reveal King Arthur that Regina's the evil queen, and then they just led the Dark One into King Arthur's kingdom. You don't need to find Merlin. We know exactly where he is. Emma was about to say something, but then Regina stepped in. So King Arthur, just to say, has shown everyone where Merlin is. He's actually he's not lost. He's stuck inside a bloody tree, and they need to get him out. And it's destined by prophecy that only the Savior can free Merlin from the tree. So King Arthur's like, "Who's the savior?" And before Emma could speak up and tell them the truth, Regina, Emma doesn't want to risk Regina, the evil queen, the former evil queen, good queen now, doesn't want to risk Emma using her dark magic on the tree or hurting Merlin or Arthur. So she volunteers to be the savior and lies to King Arthur and his knights. So Regina's playing the savior card while Emma's just staying in the background trying to control her dark magic. Anyway. Yes, Belle comes from experience. So back to Storybrooke, present day. Hook is talking to Belle about the Dark One and how the darkness took over Rumple. And yes, he just pulled away and the darkness assumed him. But then, Belle was telling Hook, it's far easier to hate a dark one than it is to love one. Hook has hated a dark one for centuries and he's still alive, but it's far easier to hate one than it is to love one. Loving a dark one is a lot worse. There's no telling if you'll survive. I mean, Rumple did break Belle's heart for a whole season ago. Henry conjured Emma Swan, the Dark One, and is asking what happened in Camelot, and Emma's not revealing answers to Henry. Emma's so evil. Regina interfered with Emma talking to their son, and right before Emma could give answers to Henry about what happened, Regina comes in, and Emma's not telling them anything about their memories in Camelot or why she cast the curse. Even you as an audience doesn't know. Mhm. But just because you're not the savior anymore doesn't mean there isn't a savior. Anyway, Emma's the evil now. So who's gonna be the savior of Storybrooke now? Regina will King Arthur just arrived in the real world. That's cool. On his horses in Main Street. Whoa! Yeah, the dwarfs. attacked King Arthur with their pickaxes, and then luckily, Arthur had his bodyguard, and is like, "Did anyone ever tell you to kneel before a king?" So they have some of their memories of Camelot. They have their memories of stopping Emma from killing Merida, and then the last thing they remember is walking into Camelot with King Arthur and his knights. So they have some memory, just not from just not from what we haven't seen yet. That's kind of odd. Usually you forget everything you've done in that realm. So so anyway, now the heroes have band together about the curse and stuff, and Arthur's wondering what's going on, and they're trying to explain of why they lied to him about Emma being the Dark One. King Arthur is kind of forgiving about it, but not really. Um, anyway, they go out looking in the woods to find any other any other survivors from the curse. Any other one of King Arthur's followers and and kingdom, gather all of Arthur's kingdom together. So they're setting a camp in the woods, and while they're doing that, Regina and Snow talk about what Emma's up to. She can kill them with a flick of her hand, and Snow White's like, "What? No, 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 no. Regina doesn't mean she will do that. This can't be what Emma's talking about. She said something was coming, and only a savior can solve it. So what else is coming?" We're in this flashback where Regina is trying to convince Emma to play along with her being with Evil Queen being the savior and trying to prevent Emma from using her magic against Arthur or Merlin. So anyway, Regina's trying to find her own way of getting the wizard out of the tree, and she doesn't care what Merlin's prophecy says. She's gonna find a way to get the wizard out without Emma interfering because she's cursed with dark magic. And Regina has the dagger, so Emma didn't really have agency in telling Arthur the truth. Look, that's a lot of water bottles for a whole kingdom being cursed in Storybrooke. Giving them food and shelter. Regina's like, yes, people don't see me as the evil queen anymore, but to believe in me and trust me to lead them, that's a whole different story. But I think you've been good enough that they would trust you, Regina. Just as long as you stay on the good path. Unlike Emma now. Usually it's Regina who's evil and Emma who's good. That's how season 1 was, but season 5 has the opposite. We got evil Emma and good Regina. So the Excalibur is missing. Yes, in the real world, everyone knows about King Arthur. He's a legend. They know about Excalibur. The unfortunately, it's hard to know if the curse brought it over with them to the real world. So only time will tell. Just like Merlin, though, now that I can say this, just like Merlin, if you try leaving the Storybrooke to go to the New York or somewhere that's more real than Storybrooke. Because even in the real world, Storybrooke is a fictional town. So for anyone who tries to go to a real city in the real world, if you leave Storybrooke, you turn into a tree just like Merlin. Who's keeping track of all the town line changes? You're probably not me. Wow, Emma bought a house. She used to live in her parents' apartment before this, but now Emma has her own house, so that's new. Emma has her own house now. She didn't have her own house in the past. She's lived with her parents for like 4 seasons. Emma's like a temptation, and Hook's not falling for it. All Emma wants to do is kiss his lips up. And Hook is like, "No, I'm not interested in our relationship until you tell me what happened in Camelot." And Emma's not saying anything. Never keep secrets from your boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands and wives or spouses. Honestly, I hope the darkness doesn't ruin their relationship. Him and Hook's. Having known how this plays out, it's kind of funny. But only you'll get it when this when I'm not when it's over and I'm not spoiling it for anyone new watching it. Later episodes to come. I can't wait for you guys to see. Regina was there was a black beast that Emma brought to Storybrooke, and it was kind of going after Robin Hood, and Regina went to go save Robin Hood's life, but kind of got knocked over in the process and was pretty injured. And they want to take her to a hospital, but she doesn't want to leave. She wants to make sure Robin's safe. So this is the other night we saw when Arthur was pulling out the sword in the stone, not Lancelot, but the other one that was with him. So, well, that's kind of funny. This night of King Arthur's wants to have a dance with the Savior, and they all think it's Regina. And then Robin Hood is also looking forward to a dance with Regina as well because they're in love. Robin Hood and Regina. I hope you ship them as well. No, what is it? That's Rumple and Bell. What's the love ship for Regina and Robin? Swan. No, Swan Queen is just Emma and Regina. Um, Queen Arrow. I don't know what it is. Sorry, guys. Queenhood. Maybe it's Queen. I don't know. Anyway, Regina doesn't want to go to the dance, but Snow and Charming kind of want her to be there because the party's all for her. And if someone's throwing a party for you, you have to show up if it's for you. If it's not your party, then that's a different story. You got to show up if it's your own party. That's like putting a lot of effort and work for nothing if you don't show up. So Snow and Charming are trying to convince Regina to go. And the one reason she doesn't want to go is because she can't dance. And she's been to many balls, but her Snow White's father was more interested in dancing with his daughter than his wife. So no wonder she was an evil stepmother. The father never gave her the spouse treatment she deserves. So anyway, they're teaching Regina how to dance, and obviously she can't be in an evil queen outfit because that's too evil. So being something nicer. And she's in a nice purple dress that she hasn't worn since her young adulthood before she married the king. So that's a nice dress we haven't seen since Regina's teenage life. Soon everyone will believe you're the savior if you dance really, really well. Anyway, someone was spying on them. The knight that I wanted to request to dance with her is spying on them, and now he knows that she's not the real savior. So if word gets out, that will not be good. Remember Snow White gave Emma up as a baby to escape the curse. So she's never watched her daughter grow up. And now, 30 years later, with her daughter being 30 years old, she finally gets to go to her first real ball with her daughter. Normally, normally your first ball with your children should be when they're little, but not Snow White because she didn't get to see her daughter grow up. So this will be a nice adult version of first ball, mother and daughter ball, first as adults. That's better than not having a mother daughter ball. Regina's making an entrance to the ballroom. Robin is smiling, can't wait to dance with her. Everyone thinks she's the savior, though, when it's really Emma Swan. Regina talking to Rumpel, who's in a coma, so you don't know. You don't know. I don't think he can hear you, Regina. You might want to just wait until he wakes up. You can prove me wrong. Okay. I'm tired. Belle found something about the black monster attacking Storybrooke. Oof. So Swan and Camelot summoned a black monster to help save a life, and in return someone else had to die. The person who didn't pay the price was Robin Hood. So anyway, the Fury is now back in Storebrook to collect Robin Hood's body and kill him. And so the only way to save Robin Hood is to sacrifice someone else in his place. That's one way to look at it. Grumpy's, who once was dreamy and help Belle find her dreams, is now returning the and no, when Belle helped Grumpy found his dream with Nova, Grumpy's returning the favor, by telling Belle that, when the last petal falls, Rumple dies. But think of it this way: every petal that's still on the flower gives you another chance to save Rumple. So, that kind of cheers Belle up. Think of it from a different perspective. As long as there's still petals, he's alive. So don't worry about the ones that have fallen off. Focus on the ones that are still up. So anyway. Charmio's trying to help Henry get his first crush. We haven't really seen a Henry fall in love in the show yet, but now that he's a teenager, he's kind of old enough to fall in love. Violet and Henry. I have a book that's about their relationship, by the way. It's kind of cool. It's a good song. It's a love dance song. Anyway, nice way to open up the season, don't you think? With a nice ball and just a good start. Nothing too evil yet. Oh, here comes the guard that spied on him. He wanted to dance with her. Anyway, this is creepy. I don't trust this guy. He was spying on her. Gina, in trouble. Regina's like, because she doesn't know Henry's having a crush right now. He's like, "Who's that girl with my son?" Most mothers are overprotective over their children falling in love. Many years ago. Oh, so this Arthur Knight is from the Enchanted Forest. Mhm. Emma Swan was about to use her magic, her dark magic, against the fight. Thanks to Hook, though, Emma's is not gonna be responsible for this. Wow, that was embarrassing. So what happened? The knight was talking about a story where he was a boy and he went back to his village to find out all his family and people have been murdered. He was hiding in the wreckage when the evil queen walked around and smiled at him and chose to spare his life. And now he's all grown up and he's like, "You're the evil queen and you're the boy." I don't know. Regina's killed so many people. How I don't know how she remembers that, but anyway, he knows that that's the evil queen, and so anyway, he was planning to kill her until Robin jumped in the way and got killed instead, and now Robin's life is in the balance in front of Arthur and his whole kingdom, so that must be disturbing and kind of violent. Hopefully he gets arrested. Whoa. So, Regina's confronting Emma about the fury that's killing Robin Hood, and in the present, and Emma's like, "I didn't summon the fury, so it's not my price to pay. You have to pay the price because you called it in Camelot." And so, anyway, if you want to be the savior, if you want to save the town, then step up and do what needs to be done, and kicks Regina out of her. Oh, Emma was really raged right there. Anyway, something I wanted to mention about Henry and Violet. Um, Looking from the window above, just like the story of love. I know that song pretty well. Um, Henry, Henry has never been in love before. This is interesting. Anyway, I don't know what I was gonna say about that. Charming helped get them together though, and she's lived in Camelot her whole life and is bored of all the parties. And Henry introduces Violet to headphones and things from the real world and allowing them to listen to different music. And I don't know how Henry has data or Wi-Fi because there's no internet there, but they're listening to their own music while the ball is doing their while the ball is doing their boring music. Henry's doing his fun music. You don't like the music that's playing? Why don't you just get headphones and listen to your own music? Anyway, Emma's seen people that are not really there. She has a devil on her shoulder. She's talking to the devil on her shoulder. No one knows. It's kind of creepy. You're gonna look like you're talking to yourself. Anyway, this is not good. Mm. The darkness is tasty, but that's not gonna stop Emma from trying to be good. Too much. That's like, you're trying not to drink, and then once you have one sip of alcohol or wine, you get too addicted to it and you drink more. Come on, don't once you drink something, it can become an addiction, and that's not good. Once you, give into darkness, it can become an addiction. Anyway, yes, Emma used her powers to heal Robin Hood from dying. Um, but, all magic comes with a price, and as much as she wants to pay it, she can't because only the person who asks for the magic can pay it. And obviously, that was Regina who didn't pay the price, so she's paying the price right now. Wow. King Arthur is even helping. Wow. So anyway, what's going on now? Not in flashback form. When Emma's about, when remember Rumple when he's the dark one, he has scaly skins. Emma's skin is starting to scale. But anyway, so she's cool, slowly becoming the evil white hair like mine is. White hair, evil eye, Emma Swan. But it's slow but surely. In flashbacks, present day, she's evil. This was hinted at in Queens of Darkness, arc, Emma going evil, but originally the plan was for the author to turn her evil and stuff. When that plan failed, other plans fell into play to cause her to be evil. It's kind of funny how these two arcs do connect, though. So, anyway, they finally did stop the Fury from killing Robin Hood in the present. Regina gave her life to pay the price, and even though she doesn't remember, you know, healing, asking for magic to heal Robin Hood. She did trust Emma when Emma said that it was her price to pay. So Regina decided to pay the price by giving her life to save Rat. Because as Belle said, you need to give your life, for another. Belle saved Belle, gave Regina that advice, and Regina sacrificed her life. But before her life could be taken, Snow and Charming intervened and sacrificed their lives. And then eventually, and then not Robin Hood because he was the one dead on the floor. And then same with Grumpy and all these seven dwarfs, and except for the one that's a tree. Dopey's a tree. Six dwarfs. And then one more time, one more person, King Arthur. It was too powerful that the Fury vanished out of thin air, and they didn't even know that was gonna work. So good on them for defeating the Fury. Now no one has to die and go to the underworld. So anyway, Robin's life was revived, and everyone's living happily ever after. Anyway, and Grumpy, as Grumpy says, if anyone's gonna save this town, it's gonna be the former evil queen. She's the new savior of this town until Emma's darkness is gone. Sometimes you need that substitute when someone goes evil. Hook and Bell had a conversation about how hopefully he doesn't have to spend a couple centuries to get Emma back because it took a couple centuries to kill Rumple. Hopefully, it doesn't take you a couple centuries to get the darkness out of Emma, right? Anyway, everyone's celebrating at Granny's with the arrival of King Arthur and his knights and just having a good time, not worrying about Emma for a moment, having a break from all this heroic adventure stuff. And Violet are now falling in love in Storybrooke, the real world, and they're listening to their own music just like they did in Camelot. Instead of headphones, they're using the joke box from Granny's. Emma's feeling left out. She was not invited to this party. Snow and Charming are discussing one fact. We defeated villains before. We're gonna win. But Snow White, it reminds Charming, no, but this is different. This time we're facing our own daughter. And if we win, she loses. It's kind of a complicated situation because most of the time when you win as a family. Now that you're going against a family member, that's kind of more harder than going against a random stranger. Most of our villains have been strangers lately, and Emma's a real, and Emma's not a stranger. She's a family member, and so it's kind of hard when one of them turns on you. And the last thing you want to do is go against them. You want to support them because you're their parents. So it's hard when your daughter's the one that's the villain. Anyway, Emma's left out though, so she's just walking away. But in flashback, Regina's being honest with King Arthur. She was the evil queen, but she's good now, and Arthur believes in her. And Arthur says, "Well, if you are willing to take a second chance, Camelot is full of second chances as well." So anyway, King Arthur is now sitting in his at the round table and is reflecting on everything. Mm. Yeah, so King Arthur accepts Regina for who she was. It's okay that she's the evil queen because she's no longer evil now. It doesn't matter who you were. What matters is who you are now. Mhm. King Arthur's a little worried because these new strangers have now posed a new threat. They want to destroy the darkness, but they want the dagger to complete their Excalibur. It's like, mm, something seems fishy about Arthur, don't you think? What's more important, the Excalibur or helping a stranger defeat the darkness? As I said, Emma was feeling left out. Rumpel was right. Said it, not me. The devil on Emma's shoulder. I mean, listen to this speech. This is a sad speech. It's kind of sad. Emma and Bill are. I mean, Hook and Bill are having a drink. How cool. There's the dagger. Now, plot revealed: the Excalibur is here in Emma's basement. And Emma has the dagger. She could pull it out and reunite the sword, so it's one blade. Because they remember the Excalibur's cut in half. She's gonna try to pull the sword from the stone, but she's been cursed with too much dark magic. It's not simple to pull the Excalibur from the stone. You want that sword, you're gonna have to pay the price. That's what the title of this episode is called. The Price. And that's the end of the episode. So that wraps it for tonight. Anyways, again, we started late because otherwise we would have ended 15 minutes ago. So anyway, as soon as these credits finish, we'll wrap up. But that's it for Once Upon a Time, guys. What a start, isn't it? We had a little fan celebration, then we had a little setup, and then things really got going with Robin's life being on the line, having a nice ball, and yeah, Henry and Violet falling in love. So anyway, yeah. So we had a wonderful speech from Rumpelstiltskin, who not the real Rumpelstiltskin, the devil on Emma's shoulder, came back in the present day. We haven't seen him in present day yet in Storybrooke. Anyway, Rumple is showing Emma where the Excalibur is, and it's in her own basement. Anyway, um, Rumple goes on about how there's things that hold Dark Ones back from doing what they want, and it's the love of the family members that's hard to break. You don't. That's the last thing you want to do is break a family bond. You know, the pull of the friendships we refuse to let go. And the love that refuses to give up on us. Causes us to go back to the light. Anyway, and in Rumple's evil dialogue, it's like saying, we are always drawn to the light. Every time when we want to stay evil, we are always drawn to the light. But Emma has a chance to change that and destroy the lightness inside her and make her fully dark. And that's by taking Excalibur from the sword. Maybe this is what Merlin was talking about. Don't pull the sword from the stone, otherwise it might be too late. Anyway, it's not that simple though, because as Emma tries to pull the sword in the stone, she's not worthy. It's like having a priesthood calling. She's not worthy of pulling the sword out of the stone. She needs someone who's righteous and heroic and a hero. And she's not one of those anymore. She's the dark one. So anyway, luckily she didn't turn into dust like the other guy did. And in King Arthur in King Arthur flashback, long time ago, decades before the fairy tale came to the real world. Someone tried to pull the sword from the stone and they turned into dust. King Arthur pulled it and he didn't die. King Arthur was a righteous king. Emma's not a righteous king like Arthur is, though. So the only reason she didn't turn it into dust is because, unlike that mortal man, she was immortal. So instead, the sword just pushed her back. But anyway, if she weren't the dark one, she would have turned into dust if she was evil. So, I mean, it's a good thing. I don't want to see. I mean, Regina has repented of her sins, but I don't know if she's worthy enough to pull the sword in the stone. So I hope she doesn't pull it and turn into dust. You have to find someone who's really pure in heart, who's probably never been evil in their life to pull the sword. And so, or maybe they have been evil in their life, but maybe not as evil as like the evil queen. So anyway, it's going to be hard to find a certain hero that's been mostly good. And of course, if Emma wants that sword, she's going to have to pay the price. The price is becoming a hero, and that's not something she's going to do. So keeping her villainous way, she's going to find a hero somewhere in Storybrooke and pull that sword from the stone and have them pull that sword from the stone somehow. So that's where we're at in Once Upon a Time. Um, you know, and then, of course, everyone lives happily ever after for a moment. It's nice to have a break from Crisis after defeating a blackish monster that was going to kill Robin Hood. After dealing with the Wicked Witch and going to Camelot to save Emma from making a bad decision. Wow, what an adventure! It was nice to have a little break towards the end. Well, more to come though next week. Hopefully we'll start on time. This time I won't be at another family gathering, and I won't be running late. Hopefully. Yeah, I haven't seen any new comments since what I read earlier, so I think that's gonna wrap up for the night. Luckily, even though we started late, our recording still shows about 2 hours and 40 minutes. So we're not going to do Q&A anyway, so that's fine. We had a Q&A special, so there you go. That also does count as one of our 3 episodes, though. So don't think we watched 2 because we still watched 3. That Q&A episode was so that's an episode. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap up for tonight. I'm gonna see what YouTube is. YouTube, wow, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So all right, we're gonna Facebook's just gonna be a little shorter. I might edit the first little bit out of YouTube though. So that it looks like we've started both live streams at the same time. So with that said, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. More to come from season 5 next week. If you haven't already, make sure you watch these episodes. Obviously you have if you're watching at this point in the live stream. But anyway, God be with you till we meet again. What a great start to season 5. Can't wait to continue it with you guys next week. Bye, y'all.